Hi, my name is Deepthi. Welcome to my channel, a place where you can learn at your own pace.
So let's start with writing section today. Before we start with the essays, it is very important for us to understand what the examiner will be looking at. What is the criteria for gauging your skills so that you can work on it and accordingly get the hang of it. So to incorporate these skills in your essay, first you need to understand what these basic skills are. So we are looking at 4 different skills.
The 4 descriptors that we are looking at here are task achievement, coherence and cohesion, vocabulary, and grammar. Let us understand each of these descriptors in more detail. The first descriptor is task achievement, which means to what extent have you been able to achieve the task at hand. You have to keep in mind the following pointers. The first point is, have you answered all the questions? Each task will come with a question or a set of questions. You should answer everything that is asked. Your answer should be relevant. The word relevant here means it should only answer what is asked and nothing beyond that. Whatever you write, support it, explain it with the help of reasons and examples. Avoid generalizing. Stick to the topic. Don't lose your track. Let's understand these pointers with the help of examples. Look at the first one. Have you answered all the questions? Now let us assume that this is the topic that is given to us. E-books will become more popular than paper books in the next 10 years. To what extent do you agree? Now, in this particular question, when I am writing the answer, I should be able to answer this question: to what extent do I agree or I disagree with the given statement. When I am writing an essay like this, I should also keep in mind that my answer is relevant. If I use statements like technology has helped us in multiple ways, or e-books have played a crucial role in online education, these are not directly answering the question that is given to me. So, I will lose out marks for that. Now let us look at other sentences. In the coming decade, more people will prefer e-books over paper books. In this particular statement, I am exactly talking about what the question in hand was. This can be a way of paraphrasing the topic in the introduction. For the body paragraph, I can use the following statements. E-books are easier to maintain than paper books. In fact, you can save hundreds of e-books in one device. Unlike e-books, paper books need more space for storage. All these statements are directly connected to the question, so I should focus on what is being asked. Keeping the explanation given in the previous slide into consideration, if I use this example, in my city, most of the people live in small apartments. As a result, there is shortage of storage space. If one wants to store many paper books, it becomes difficult to manage. So most people prefer reading e-books. This example directly connects with the points that I made in the previous slide. So, if you look at the overall idea, it is well supported with reasons as we saw in the previous slide, and we also have an example that directly connects to my point and the reason and the topic. Avoid generalization at all costs. It always takes you away from the topic and you will end up writing what is actually not relevant. For example, a statement like e-book industry is growing by leaps and bounds. When you look at this statement, it is talking of what is happening in present. but the question is asking you about future prediction. So, in that case, if you are writing a statement like this, you are generalizing the topic. As a result, you will lose out your bands. Second descriptor is coherence and cohesion. Coherence and cohesion are very important because they stick your sentences and paragraphs together, thereby constructing a strong essay that will help you get a good score. So what do we look into coherence and cohesion? First point states the ideas that you present should come in a sequence. For example, if you take the introduction should always have a paraphrase of the topic followed by what you're going to tell in your essay. If you look at the body paragraph should always start with a point that is supported by a reason and further add an example to that. So the ideas have to be presented in a particular sequence. The introduction will come first and the body paragraph will come later. Coherence and cohesion should be maintained not only within the paragraph but also across paragraphs. So each sentence should look like it is interconnected and not like it is a copy-paste job. Each paragraph that you write should have a central idea, a main idea. You should not put too many different ideas into the same paragraph. Let us connect this idea to the paragraph we did in the previous slides. So when you look at the entire paragraph, the first sentence is the main idea. E-books are easier to maintain than paper books. Then when I write, in fact, I'm laying further emphasis and I'm saying you can save hundreds of ebooks in one device. I'm adding a little more information to my point. Then, unlike, the word in fact tells me I'm adding more information. The word unlike tells me I'm going to contrast something. Unlike ebooks, paper books need more space for storage. So all the three sentences now seem to be interconnected. Then I have given an example here. In my city, most of the people live in small apartments. When I use as a result in the next statement, I am connecting this statement to the previous statement in terms of cause and effect. So what is my cause here? That people live in small apartments, and the effect of that cause is there is shortage of storage space. And so if they want to store books, it is difficult to manage. Thereby people prefer reading ebooks. With this, I come to the first sentence of the paragraph. Let us look at the role of the second last statement. Given the current scenario, this will continue in the coming years. So here I have also considered 10 years from now, that aspect of question. In this way, I have been able to keep in mind all the dimensions of the question and answered them. I have clearly explained the main idea of my paragraph, that ebooks are easier to maintain as compared to paper books, and I have also given an example in support of the points that I put across. So here, if you look at coherence and cohesion, everything is aligned in a proper way. In this slide, you will find some transition words and phrases that will help you add coherence and cohesion to your write-ups. If you have to tell a sequence of events, you can use words like first, second, third, or firstly, secondly, thirdly. If you have to conclude, if you have to show the end result, you can use words like thus, therefore, so. To lay emphasis on a particular point, you can use words like generally, in fact. To add on more to what you have already said, you can choose words like in addition to, also, etc. For giving a reason, use words like because, since. For examples, use words like such as, That is, for instance, to show contrast, use words like still, but, yet, however, and to compare things, use words like on the contrary, whereas, in comparison to, etc. IELTS is a language based test, so it is important to test vocabulary. Your vocabulary is an indicator of how well you can understand a particular language, and that is why vocabulary is tested for the range of words that you know. If you are able to use those words correctly, and if you are committing any spelling errors or any other errors pertaining to word formation. In the next lecture, when we discuss the importance of paraphrase in IELTS, you will be able to understand how having a wide range of vocabulary will help you paraphrase better. Look at an example here. Raining heavily. Raining heavily can be spoken in many ways. Torrential rains is one replacement. Raining cats and dogs, or pouring down. So, if I have to use the same word in the write-up again and again, it is better to use a replacement, a synonym, or another word for it that has the same meaning. Having more knowledge of such vocabulary words is going to help you paraphrase and put in your thoughts in a better way. It will also act as an indicator for the examiner. The examiner will be able to understand that you know the language well. It is very important to know which word should be used where. Correct usage is the key to success here. Look at the three words: quarantine, exile, and ostracize. All three words have one thing in common, that is, a person is secluded from the group, a person is taken away from the group. Quarantine is done for medical reasons, when a person is isolated from a group due to medical reasons. If a person is removed from a geographical boundary, especially for political reasons, that becomes an exile. So, when you look at the famous mythological story in which Sri Ram was asked to leave Ayodhya, it was an exile because he was supposed to stay away from a geographical boundary. The next word here is ostracize. When somebody is socially outclassed, it becomes ostracized. Now that we know the context, we also understand that these words, though they have something in common, cannot be used interchangeably. Having knowledge of vocabulary will help you express yourself better and convey the exact meaning that you want to deliver. The fourth and the most crucial point is grammar. Without grammar, a language is without backbone. Correct grammatical constructions will help you communicate in a better way. Also, you need to keep in mind for IELTS, you should use a wide range of sentence structures. Don't only stick to simple sentences. Move ahead. Try complicated sentences such as compound sentences or complex sentences. Please make sure punctuation is in place. Your language should be formal and avoid errors as much as possible. Take a minute, look at these three statements and try to find errors. The first error was quite easy to identify. After the helping verb didn't, we always use the main form of the verb. Thereby, in the first sentence, instead of ate, we should write eat. In the second sentence, we are making a comparison. Now, the comparison is between China's population and India's population. If we write the statement, China's population is more than India, we are comparing China's population to India, which is an incorrect comparison because population cannot be compared to a country. So, we need to rectify this error, which can be done in following ways. China's population is more than India's population. China's population is more than that of India. Or the population of China is more than the population of India. We may also say China's population is more than India's population. Look at the last statement. In the last statement, two people are being compared, my brother and I. Now, because the comparison is happening between two subjects, you cannot use me towards the end because me is the objective form of the pronoun. The subjective form is I. So, the correct sentence will be, my brother is taller than I. Grammar is not only about accuracy of tenses, pronouns, prepositions, but it is also about sentence structures. So, we can have multiple sentence structures in our essay, depending on what we are trying to convey. We may want to use simple sentences such as he organized his wardrobe, he could not find his white shirt. Now here I have two different sentences. They are simple, but one drawback here is that I am not able to identify the relationship between these two sentences. So if I try a compound sentence in which I use both the independent sentences and connect them using a conjunction but, let us see what is the result. He organized his wardrobe, but he could not find his white shirt. Here, but is acting as a connecting agent that is telling me there is some kind of contradiction in the two sentences. Usually, when we clear our wardrobe, we find the lost things, but in this case, this person was not able to do so. If you want to make a complex sentence, you can connect the two sentences using a word like although. Although is also a contrasting word. So my sentence would read something like, although he organized his wardrobe, he could not find his white shirt. Still, the connection between the two sentences is clear. So based on whatever you are trying to express, whatever is the need of the context in which you are writing the statement, use wisely what sentence structure you want to follow. You are taking an exam, so you are supposed to use formal language. There are some words that we used in our day-to-day language, we can replace them with more formal words. Instead of using book seat, you can say or write reserve seat. Instead of using tell, you can use inform. Instead of using tough, you can use difficult. Instead of kids, you can use children. And in place of deal with, you can use manage.
I hope these descriptors were useful for you, and I hope using these descriptors you will be able to write wonderful essays for your exam. In the forthcoming classes, we will also discuss the 5 different types of essays that we are looking at, and we will look at templates that we can use for each of these essays. So until then, keep learning and keep evolving.
You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook.